This begins Sports Pub.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to another, a little bit belated edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Something happened today for the first time, but that's okay. We don't panic here on the Lunchbox, and
You don't
quite a day. Oh no, we never panic. We just start eating. And, anyway, let me get click the button here. We're gonna get us live streaming onto the Let's Eat South Florida
Sorry for
Facebook
those
group.
We're trying to get in while Mayo does his sharing. Technical things happen in this world, and we're here. So we'll start your weekend now.
Yeah, no, and look, we're up on the Lunchbox. It's 12:33 Eastern time, and we'll do our usual show. And again, we've got a wonderful lineup of more sandwiches. And I guess the question that we have. Well, first of all, let's back up. Let me take a deep breath. And we have, as you might see, it's just Lubie and myself today. That's because Jeff Defo DeForest had to catch a plane to New Orleans because him and the Mustang Sally, his lovely wife, had to go gamble their brains out for a change. They got, I guess, another deal. They sent the jet plane for him and the other whales. And originally he thought it was a 6 p.m. flight. Well, originally he thought it was a 6 a.m. flight. He was right in the beginning. And it said all week, oh, no, it's 6 p.m., so I can do the shows. And then next thing you know, nope, 6 a.m. So, Lubie, you admirably handled the solo duties on the Defo show this morning where we talk some sports, but I mainly talk sandwiches because I have a one-track mind now. And it's all about the sandwich. But today, things got a little bit complicated because not only with the technical issues, but Jim Sarney, the official mascot and executive producer, not executive producer, he's just kind of the statistician. He keeps us honest and tells us what. He informed me that today is National Potato Day. So how do you combine National Sandwich Month with National Potato Day?
You found
Lubie, do you know the answer?
I didn't know the answer, but of course, the gambling gourmet himself always has an answer when it comes to food.
Here we go. And it's a mess here. I got to
Are you
pick up
ready,
sandwich.
Sir?
All right. So there's the two-word answer to this conundrum is Primanti Brothers. It's a Pittsburgh icon, a tradition that started in Pittsburgh and now has, I guess, locations around the Northeast or Pennsylvania. And there's two of them in Florida, including the one is on the beach, and I went to one on Oakland Park Boulevard because it was easy to get to from my house. Actually, after the gym, I did my walk of life. My daughter went to the gym down in Hallandale, but I got my walk in and I worked off some of yesterday's 5 sandwiches. And today, Primanti Brothers is known for smushing. They make these creations. And before I got into this half, I bought 2 different sandwiches, Lubie. Here, let me show you the full ones. Well, I got a grilled salami sandwich. You see this? And do you see the way, like, this is soft kind of Italian bread that's like, it looks, this is a hefty sandwich. What they do is they pack French fries on top of the meat or whatever sandwich you get, along with coleslaw. This is coleslaw, not lettuce, and then they throw a little tomato on there. And I got 2 sandwiches because, let's face it, yesterday I did 5 sandwiches. And when we were at Broad Shoulders Sandwiches in Fort Lauderdale with Nikki Mohan, visit Lauderdale Thursday, and that was fantastic. But once you've scaled the heights to 5 sandwiches a day, I can't go cold turkey and just cut back to 1 sandwich. I had to, kind of taper off. So I got 2 sandwiches at Primanti Brothers that have both, and I got them. Again, you could go in there and get like a normal regular person sandwich, but if you go in there and order what they call the Pramonti style sandwich, that's packed and loaded with the French fries and the coleslaw. And I got my finger blocking. I gotta get my stuff. Here we go. All right, this one I got a egg sandwich. This is a breakfast sandwich, egg and cheese with the French fries and coleslaw. Let me
So
tell
the
you
French
something.
fries or hash browns? It's French fries still, even with the
French
egg?
fries. I could pull them off and deconstruct it,
No,
but
it's
it's gonna
okay.
get ugly. But yeah, they
It's
actually look like fresh cut French. They have the skin on it. They were
nice.
and they've gotten a little cold at this point because of our delays. But
No.
let me tell you, I had a little appetite because I didn't eat anything this morning. When we had the glitches and I started kind of stress eating, I opened up that breakfast sandwich. That thing went down. That's a 4-star sandwich, man.
Really?
Yeah, fantastic. I couldn't.
wow.
I couldn't believe that it's been so long. I haven't had a Primanti Brothers style sandwich. I think since I was in Pittsburgh covering the Dolphins, like back in '94 or '90. One of those years when I was like writing columns. And yeah, and when I did go into the Primanti Brothers down here, usually was drunk on the beach, and I would maybe have a slice of pizza at 3 in the morning.
Pizza salad.
And I didn't do the whole sandwich. But that breakfast sandwich and the salami is pretty good too. It's a little stacked with salami, so it's a little bit salty. But they throw that. I went in there this morning right when they opened, the one on Oakland Park Boulevard, at 11 a.m. and I was like banging on the door. The guy was like, "All right, we're open." I said, "This salami, the Pramonti style salami sandwich." I said, "Is it cold?" He goes, "Well, it's sliced Genoa salami, but we throw it on the flat top." And I was like, "Perfect. I want a grilled salami sandwich."
Nice.
And I haven't had that in this month of eating sandwiches. So it's always something different. Now I did the recap, Lubie, and because I wanted to see where we're at. It's the 19th of August, right? And originally you thought we were just going to be doing sandwiches on show days, weekdays, right?
Yeah.
I don't do anything half baked. I was going to say half A, but I remember this is on the radio. FCC rules apply. But I want to eat a sandwich every day of the month. And sometimes I'll stack up more and have a leftover sandwich the following day, and that counts. If you have 4 sandwiches one day and you have like a leftover half sandwich the next day, I think that counts. So guess how many I've consumed so far here on the 19th day of August? And
do you have pictures of all of them? Like, how are you able to go?
Oh yeah, I have pictures. I've been keeping logs. I just sometimes have some scattered notes everywhere. But and I'm not even. And I know Lubie is battling a little bit of a cold today, so I appreciate him hitting the mute button while he hacks his lungs out and blows his nose, because it's gross enough here on the lunchbox when I just stuff my face and eat. But if we had all the body functions going, I could start belching. No. We'll even without Defo, it's like the teacher's away. The cat can play. We can do all kinds of things that he regards as heinous acts of broadcast crimes. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so I'm not even counting. I had a pre-sandwich on July 31st at the Cage, that meatloaf sandwich. I'm not even counting that.
Oh wow!
Even though I had a sandwich, that was Sandwich Month Eve. That was kind of just a warm-up, kind of the preseason. And unlike some of these Dolphin starters and tours, I actually took snaps in the Sandwich Month preseason on July 31st. I opened my mouth and I actually put a sandwich down. So, but I'm not counting that one. Okay, so here we are, the 19th of August. How many sandwiches have I purchased and consumed so far?
You want me to guess?
I do want you to guess.
I would say 26.
You're under. You hit the
under. I'm under.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Again, for those watching at home, it's supposed to be 19 because you're supposed to have one a day. So 26 is under. Just to clarify what's going on here.
So yeah, I always, I wanted to stockpile and make sure, like, if something happened to me, God forbid, I would die ahead, so that I would almost. And I'm almost at the month long. Again, I wanted to get to 31 for the month. Lubie, I'm at 28 sandwiches.
Oh Jesus!
Now, 28,
there's still
19 days.
31 days in this month, so there's still 12 days left.
I had some crazy days, where I had. Yesterday was the onslaught because we were at Broad Shoulders Sandwiches, and let's discuss that because we talked about it on the morning show a little bit. Tom Azar and his wife Cheryl. What a nice shop, and they just do like you said, you were kind of amazed that they had this wide array of different styles of sandwiches, and yet they seem to really execute all of them quite well, and they were everything I had was fantastic. We had 5 sandwiches there yesterday. And we were talking about this morning, like to rank them from 1 to 5, and they were all good. I recommend them all. I recommend the place. It's Gambling Gourmet approved, Lunchbox approved. And I'm glad that they had us out there because they've only been open since February, so it's about 6 months. And the assortment of things that we got and everything was well executed. We had a Reuben, a Cuban, a fried chicken, spicy Southern fried chicken, kind of like a Nashville style, although not quite Nashville. It was just kind of a spicy fried chicken.
That's what I think
And
it is.
then what are the other two? The hot Italian beef sandwich, that the Chicago style, that's trending now, all the rage because of The Bear, the show that's on Hulu, and which takes place, I guess, in a sandwich shop. And the Italian beef sandwich has become all the rage around the country because of that. He sold out of those Italian beefs before we were done with the show.
Yes, no, we were done at 1:00, and they were already sold out. People went there for Italian beefs and couldn't get them. Let me ask you this. Sarni brings up a good point. Now, since you're so far ahead, and you're not someone who, I mean, you can say half-assed, but half bakes something in life. When you get to 31, will you then tap out? Because I feel like the Mike Mayo I know is going to end up just doing a sandwich a day. Like, that's what I feel like. What are you going to do?
I have to keep going because during the show times, during the weekdays, I have to have kind of, either a fresh sandwich that I purchased that day or, from the night before if I'm planning in advance and I don't have time to go to the particular location. So I'm going to keep going. And there's a lot more territory to cover because I'm looking over this list now. And I'm going to rattle it off real quick. Again, it started off on the 1st. It was the Publix Boar's Head Ultimate Sub. Then it went into the Turkey Club from Roberts. Then it was the pastrami corned beef combo from Grandpa's Deli in Dania. Then it was a double header on the 4th. I had a duck confit sliders at Three Sons Brewing in Dania, along with that cheesesteak at Bar 25 in Delray Beach. The 5th was the oyster shrimp po' boy from Shuck and Dive in Davie. Shuck and Dive in Fort Lauderdale. The 6th was the seared tuna sandwich from the Yard House in Hallandale. The 7th was the Southern fried buttermilk battered chicken sandwich from Shenanigan's East Side in Dania. The 8th actually was the first day where all I had was leftover. It was a show where I had the leftover chicken sandwich. So that was the first 0 day. But then I made up for it on the 9th with a 3 sandwich day, chicken parm meatball sub and a meatball sub from the pizza spot, along with a grilled cheese with bacon from the poker room at the Mardi Gras Big Easy Casino.
You actually gave high marks to. You actually gave high marks to.
Excellent sandwich. Excellent sandwich. Then it was good. It was like the perfect composition of a basic sandwich. They had crisp bacon and good gooey American cheese, and they buttered up the white toast, and however they grilled it and pressed it, it came out crisp and beautiful. So I love that sandwich. That was a surprise. I love a good surprise. The 10th came the Peruvian chicharron sandwich from J28 Sandwich Bar in Hollywood. The 11th was the clunker. The most expensive and the worst thing I've put in my mouth all month was the Huso dog from the Hard Rock. You know what? It wasn't the worst thing I put in my mouth. It was actually okay. It was missing an ingredient. They didn't put on the pickled mustard seeds, but it was like a fake hot dog that used Alaskan king crab leg instead, with Kewpie mayonnaise and some American caviar sprinkled on.
Yeah, but they were chins on everything. Like I didn't even see the sandwich.
It didn't cover the bun. It was $45, and I know it's expensive ingredients, but like don't offer that sandwich if you can't do it right, where you can't at least get enough crab leg to cover the length of this bun.
Well, like you said, that cheesesteak was $26, right? But you didn't complain. You're like,
no, that was worth it.
But it was well worth it. So that's fine.
We split it up 3 ways. It fed 3 mouths, including Dick Steen, and that's a pretty big mouth to feed right there, along with Joe Cassell, and he's a great guy. And we did a little mix and matching of the different things at that new Bar 25, and but that cheesesteak was very satisfying, very well prepared, and all the ingredients that it said was going to be there on the menu were there. So that's worth it. I don't mind expensive if they actually execute it well. But this Huso dog at the Marquis Caviar at the Hard Rock, $45. When you add on the tax and tip, it almost was $55. And ouch. It's like, but when you go into the Hard Rock, sometimes you got to take your losses like a man. That was the 11th. The 12th was Tom T and the Muffaletta that almost killed me. The murder by Muffaletta at Tom's Louisiana Kitchen up there. That was a Friday. That was last week. It feels like a million years ago after all the eating I've done. That was at Boynton Beach No Boat Kitchen. That was a great time. Besides the Muffaletta, he killed us with a whole bunch of other foods, the gumbos and the etouffees and whatnot. Last Saturday, I had a banh mi sandwich. It was the barbecue pork and pate banh mi from 545 Banh Mi Cafe in Davie. That was great. That was a good sandwich. That was a Saturday sandwich that I did not get to consume on the show. Then on Sunday, which I did hold half of it as a leftover from Monday's show, was the tripleta, Puerto Rican sandwich of a combination of pernil, which is roast pork, and some beefsteak, which is obviously the cube steak fried up, and a little bit of chicken. This was a triple meat combo in a nice sandwich that's with potato sticks. So that would fit for the potato day today. That was from my Que Rico food truck that sets up shop around the corner from me on the weekends. And
I
so
would like
on
to
that,
add here for those that are just joining in, we're just revisiting Mike Mayo. It's
all
like
the
people talking about the
sandwiches.
fantasy team. People may be like, why do I care? Because we put a lot of time and effort into this. By we, I mean him. Mike Mayo every day. What I want to add is, if you notice, not one sandwich repeats. Like,
Right.
outside of the chicken being a repetitive ingredient, I'm telling you, I saw the sandwich yesterday. That was nothing like what you would get at Shenanigans. Like, every sandwich has been totally different. And I'm just giving you credit for the fact that you've really held to that, where every sandwich is very different.
Well, thank you, Lubie. I appreciate you noting the diversity in the food selections.
Impressive.
And I'm going to critique myself when I finish the list. So on the Monday show, the 15th, I had an Egg McMuffin. It was the first fast food entry, and it was the first breakfast sandwich. To me, it's a classic. And I finished my tripleta sandwich on air Monday. Tuesday, it was a crazy day. It was a 4-sandwich day. It started with on air our visit to Costa's Greek Eatery. I had the hero, wrapped in pita bread with the tzatziki sauce. It was garlicky, it was creamy, it was luscious, it was good. And then from there, I went to another place in Delray with Dickstein, Pizzeria Sophia, because he was touting this. The owner there, Frankie, is from Philadelphia, and Philadelphia, they're known not just for cheesesteaks, but for this roast pork with provolone and broccoli rabe. Hoagie or whatever you want to call it. I had a half one of those, and then I had a sausage and peppers and onions. So that's 3. And then at night, what did I do at night? I can't even imagine. What was the 4th thing?
That's 4, isn't it?
Oh, I had a torta, the Mexican torta.
Oh,
I
yeah,
went with
your
my
torta.
daughter to dinner, but I used that for the show the next day, the chicken torta, which is Mexican from Chapultepec in Hallandale.
Yeah.
And then, followed that up with the
Was that Wednesday?
yesterday was five
Yesterday
sandwich
was
day. And we didn't even get to the 5th because it was the Cuban, the Reuben, the chicken, the Italian beef, and he made a muffaletta, another version of a muffaletta that wasn't as big or as gargantuan, but every bit as tasty. It was a dainty, positively dainty, but it was actually big compared.
Actually, a nice time. Tom
It was
T
good.
just went insane.
Good flavor. And then that brings us today, Primanti Brothers, the double sandwich. I've had some bites while we were on our technical glitches here, and forget it. It's just a big old mess here. I can't even. It's all going to fall over the place.
So that's the question. Were you able to eat it like a sandwich, or is it like you sort of have to futz with it? Like,
here, I'll show you how I eat it.
Yeah,
This
let
one
me
is the
see.
end of the breakfast sandwich, and you got stuff sticking out.
breakfast
And
this thing.
it's not a lunchbox until. And I'm sorry, Defo. He's probably at the table losing his shirt right now, but I'm going to eat on the air. Lubie's going to give the play-by-play, or take a picture. This is the breakfast egg and cheese sandwich.
I'll do play-by-play.
From Pramonti.
I'm here. Okay, so what I love is that you called it a breakfast sandwich, but it looks like it's lunch, dinner, breakfast, snack. Like, I love that there's egg, sausage, potato. Is there a vegetable on it of some kind? Like this, and this is supposedly a breakfast sandwich. Like
Coleslaw and tomato.
I feel like I would be more intrigued to have potato on breakfast sandwich than on like a burger. Like when people do that, the egg and the potato on a burger, I'm sort of But like for some reason with the egg and the sausage, I feel like the potato and cheese, it complements it all well with a nice, if it's like a toast kind of a bread, I feel like it complements it as well.
This bread is not toasted. It's just very soft.
What kind of bread?
What I call like Italian white. It's like a white bread but like Italian style with a little bit thicker crust. I could hold it
Okay.
up here.
Yeah.
It's, you can see it
Okay.
like that.
Yeah,
And
but
but
that's
it's
perfect,
very
though.
soft, so it's very makes it very edible. You mentioned sandwiches. Now, the breakfast, the egg and cheese sandwich, they do have options. You could add sausage or bacon, but
Okay.
because I was going with salami on the other sandwich, I just made it a straight egg and cheese. You
Oh,
mentioned
there's no meat
vegetables.
on that. It was that big without meat?
Yeah. No,
Oh,
and again, what they pack it with, what makes it, and I weighed these sandwiches before we came on the air. Each of these sandwiches was over a pound. They were each 20 ounces, 20
jeez.
ounce sandwiches. That's a pound and a quarter each, with loaded up with the potatoes. And you mentioned vegetables. Yeah, on both of these sandwiches, the Pramonti style is whatever your meat or eggs or whatever it is. Then they put on the French fries. Then they put on the coleslaw, and then they top it with tomatoes. So you got the coleslaw and the tomatoes.
Nice.
And the coleslaw is not mayonnaise at all. It's just a little bit of, it's more like shredded cabbage with just a hint of a little bit of vinegar, maybe a hint of mayo, not very much. And yeah, there you have it. That's the Primanti Brothers
That's a
sandwich.
nice sandwich.
And there you have it. We're at 28 in 19 days of August. And I'm going to take a break. But first, I'm going to critique myself because here's what's missing. There's a lot of things I haven't
Yeah.
done yet.
And that's what Defo
And
says.
we're running out of time. There's only about 12 days left in the month of August. I find it ironic or something. I don't know if irony is the right word. I've only had 3 seafood/fish sandwiches so far.
That's Defo's
And
limit.
I'm sorely lacking it. I'm going to be closing with a furious run of fish and seafood sandwiches. Like next week, we're going to hopefully be setting up, have our remote edition at the Even Keel Fish Shack, and they do a great fish sandwich. They also do a great lobster roll. So I'm probably going to have a double header there.
Yeah.
So, and then of course,
You had
our
a
friend Pat.
dolphin? You haven't had a, or I'm sorry, mahi mahi?
I haven't had the classic mahi
Okay.
or the special fish of the day, which is usually swordfish or yellowtail snapper at Shenanigans. And Pat Utter, I saw him yesterday. He's getting all pumped for the big 30th anniversary celebration. It's hard to believe. First location opened 30 years ago, and he's going to be there Saturday all day. Both locations will be celebrating, but I'm going to go see Pat and his lovely wife Christina. We're going to have a toast close to the Dolphins kickoff, 7:00 tomorrow night, Saturday the 20th at Shenanigans, the original one that's across from TY Park. But I told him I have to get in there and have a couple of the fish sandwiches for Sandwich Month, along with Even Keel Fish Shack, maybe a couple other places. But the thing is, I love seafood and fish sandwiches, but I would say the 3 worst sandwiches I've had this month so far are the seafood entries, because there's the ripoff Huso dog at the Hard Rock, the really disappointing mediocre tuna from the Yard House, and then the po' boy, the oyster and shrimp po' boy from Shuck and Dive was good, but it wasn't dressed. They didn't have the remoulade sauce, and they didn't pack it with, so it was a dry sandwich. So we're gonna have to pick up our seafood sandwich game.
You haven't had the old school like beer battered like cod, or you know, when you go to a place.
Like, I'm not a big fried fish fan sandwich. Again, it's that double crunch, like the same thing with the chicken tenders Publix sub. It's too much batter and bread. I prefer just grilled. But we'll get into that, and the other thing, which is kind of shocking in a good way, is that the only fast food sandwich I've had was the McDonald's Egg McMuffin. I haven't done the Popeye's chicken sandwich or some of the other, the Arby's roast beef or whatever dreck is out there. But I guess I'm open to taking anybody's suggestions. Meanwhile, let's talk a little bit about some higher food, some more elevated cuisine. I'm talking about Visit Lauderdale, Dine Out Lauderdale months that's going on right now. Had another fantastic time with Nikki Mohan yesterday. And if, I'm going to have to, I guess, make up for just eating all these sandwiches next month by availing myself to some of the best dining that Greater Fort Lauderdale has to offer with the Dine Out Lauderdale deals. And it's going on the rest of this month and all month September. It's dozens and dozens of top restaurants offering amazing 3- and 4-course meals starting at just $35. And some of our favorites are on there, like our friends over at the Catherine Restaurant in downtown Fort Lauderdale, Timon Ballou and his wife Marissa. They are offering a Dine Out Lauderdale menu that includes their great heirloom and tomato and burrata salad, along with short rib with summer corn and a dessert of the day. That's good stuff. I'm really high on this Evelyn's at the new Four Seasons Hotel and Residences on Fort Lauderdale Beach. They have a great young talented chef there, Brandon Solomon, and he's cooking up some great Mediterranean, Middle Eastern cuisine, including they have things like classic hummus with the stone-fired pita bread, chicken shawarma, almond basbousa, which is for dessert. It's a nice sweet treat. And then, of course, all up and along in the Las Olas Boulevard area, you have things like the Riverside Hotel's Wild Sea Oyster Bar and Grill is offering a great Dine Out Lauderdale menu. And out in the western areas, like where you are, Lubie and Coral Springs, our friends Dana and Keith at Cook and the Cork, they are also taking part, and that's a place that I need to get into. I've seen them, and I've eaten their food at different food events and festivals, but I've never gotten into the restaurant. So that's what I'm going to do in September. I'm going to start going around and seeing how many of these Dine Out Lauderdale restaurants that I could sink my teeth into. And you can check out all the great places taking part, more being added by the day. Just go to visitlauderdale.com/deals. Again, visit lauderdale.com/deals. Start planning your culinary adventure to Greater Fort Lauderdale and get your taste of the good life for less.
This is Mike Mayo's Lunchbox here every day at 12 p.m. on South Florida Live. You can just go to YouTube, look up South Florida Live. Go to Facebook, look up South Florida Live, or on the socials, including Facebook, at SoFly Live. And you can also look at Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, actually. I think on Google and YouTube, it's very easy. You look that up, you find us. And each and every night, 8 p.m., 1470 WWNN, and also 95.3, 96.9, I think, FM for your oldies, goodies, and Mike Mayo each and every day. Coming up next, more Mike Mayo's Lunchbox right here on South Florida Live.
People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans. For 30 years, they've been doing a great job. The original location, West Side, 3303 Sheridan Street, just across from TY Park in Hollywood. Then there's the East Side location, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late in both locations. Go there. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. From our friends at Visit Lauderdale and Lauderdeals, don't miss Dine Out Lauderdale during August and September in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Dozens of top restaurants are offering amazing 3- and 4-course meals starting at just $35. See all the Dine Out Lauderdale menus from more than 50 participating restaurants online at visitlauderdale.com/deals. More taste sensations are being added daily, so plan your culinary adventure to Greater Fort Lauderdale and get your taste of the good life for less. Dig in now at visitlauderdale.com/deals. We're back on the Lunchbox.
So I now know why we make fun of it, because every time you mention this man's name, it's attached to a different food item after you've already eaten 3 food items. But what he just did in the chat, the one and only Stephen Dickstein, it really explains it all. The fact that as he was talking about one place, he would then mention another place, then mention another place, and then wrap it up with another place. I'm like, okay. So it's why you guys are a great combo for us to feed off of, but you're horrible for each other.
It's not a healthy relationship. This is enabling codependence. I don't know what you call it. It's just like an orgy of gluttony. The Antichrist of dieting, as Defo has dubbed him, my man Steve Dickstein of Best of Delray Beach. Got a lot of stuff to do with Best of Delray Beach. I'm going to be cranking this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, he's always throwing in the suggestions and leading me down the primrose path. I got to tell you, though, him getting me up to Pizzeria Sophia, that was a very happy treat. That guy Frank is a good dude. I really like him and his wife Priscilla. They run this again. I love mom and pop places
Yep.
where you go in and they're there every day, and people that have some good fine dining pedigree. And this guy Frank up in Del Rey at Pizzeria Sofia does. He used to work at News Cafe. Remember when News Cafe was like the trend? Well, it wasn't even trend. It was just like a cool spot to go for
Yeah.
breakfast and lunch
Yep.
down on South Beach. And that's where, Versace, whatever his first name is Gianni,
Johnny.
Giovanni, Gianni Versace used to go and eat breakfast every day there. And that's where he was eating. And then he walked back and he got,
Yeah.
unfortunately, he got
Banana.
gunned down or stabbed or whatever it was on his steps of the mansion after eating at the News Cafe. But Frankie worked at News Cafe, one of the main restaurateurs in Miami, a guy named Mark Soika. He worked for him for a while, and then he set up shop across the street. I guess it was called Andiamo Pizza. But Frankie moved up to Del Rey a few years ago, kind of easing back. But yeah, it's good to see people like that all over the place. And a guy like Tom Azer at Broad Shoulder. There's so much good stuff down here. It's just a matter of finding it. And I hate when people whine, especially these New Yorkers. And I'm one of those old transplanted New Yorkers. And you can't get this down here. You can't get no. Just open your eyes and your taste buds and look
In your
around.
house.
It's all out there. It's all out there. You just got to know where to find it, and that's why God invented the lunchbox and Let's Eat South Florida. And Let's Eat South Florida, 86,000 strong or something like that. And I'm it's a lot of fun in conjunction with the fine folks at the Sun Sentinel. And again, this week we had some major kind of like a oddball food news story in terms of the unfortunate tragic death of a man who ate a oyster that was I guess tainted with this bacteria that eventually sickened him, and he got hospitalized, and he had 2 legs amputated, and it went through his bloodstream as a bloodstream infection, and he ended up dying. But again, the Sun Sentinel has been covering that story, and that's the kind of stuff where it's worth paying. I'm going to get Defo to go onto sunsentinel.com/subscribe, and you could get all these great digital subscription deals, 99 cents for 6 months. And you can find out all that's going on locally, and local journalism. It doesn't come free. It costs money to produce, and I like supporting the fine folks there because I worked there for almost 31 years, over 3 decades. And yeah,
It's a
so
great job. They do a really good job.
yeah. And look, so there was a little bit more that meets the eye to that story, which I heard about from some other sources, and it's a tragic story. Okay. And it's tragic for everybody involved. Most of all, the man's family. He has a daughter. He was actually celebrating his birthday and his daughter's graduation from high school.
Oh, God.
And again, as a father of a teen daughter or a single father, that kind of I could imagine, that it was a nice celebration. They went to a place where he used to work at Rustic Inn. And it's unfortunate that Rustic Inn's names get dragged into it because it could have been, again, these oysters from Louisiana are served and they go throughout the state. It was just like a losing lottery ticket and again, some people might be exposed to this pathogen, this bacteria, and it doesn't even affect them. Some of them might get a little sick and it doesn't cause a bloodstream infection. Fortunately, this gentleman, it caused a bloodstream infection and it caused his death. But the more to the story was this guy had a little bit of a troubled background. He had all kinds of drugs in his system that when they did the toxicology report, the medical examiner, and that's the part that came out yesterday, and that he had fentanyl and opioids and cocaine, like basically a lot of drugs in his system. Now, it wasn't a drug overdose that killed him. It was this bacteria that's found only in oysters, or also if you go swimming with an open wound, the bacteria in the ocean could actually enter your body that way. But apparently he didn't do that. He ate the oyster, and that's where they traced it to. Now, people are going to start blaming the victim for being a druggie, and it was the drugs that did it, and it didn't have anything to do with the oyster. No, it's a perfect storm of bad things. I feel badly for Rustic Inn because their name gets dragged into it. To their credit, they didn't deny it. I mean, they were open with the health authorities. They let them come in there and inspect their oyster stock and how they serve things and prepare things, and no fault was found with them. It's just that it's one of the risks of eating these raw oysters, especially these were Louisiana farmed oysters. But when anything from the Gulf states in the summertime, there's a higher chance of this bacteria being present.
Well, that's what I was going to
And
ask because we've talked about it. You've said this, and the professor's a big thing for him is not eating oysters in months that don't end in ER. Is that why? Like that is because of
no, it's just it's not why, because again, now these farmed oysters that are still coming from the Gulf and warmer waters. Farming means just they have these little pens and they actually seed them with oysters, and but again, there's a greater likelihood of this bacteria being formed and being present when the warmer the water is. So, and the risk involves eating raw oysters. So if it's grilled and cooked oysters or fried oysters, the bacteria is killed. So it's only a risk if you're eating oysters on the half shell raw. And the same thing goes for clams or any other raw seafood product, that there's always a chance that you can get some sort of weird bacteria. And sometimes it's a norovirus that can grow. And I think I had a tainted norovirus oyster from British Columbia, which was a cold water environment earlier this year. And that just causes some stomach distress for a couple of days. It doesn't go into your bloodstream. So there's different risks involved, and that's why they post warning signs anytime you go to a seafood joint, including, let's say, Even Keel Fish Shack, our sponsor, and they're responsible with the way they handle their seafood, and they don't serve anything that's old. But again, if you are older, if you have a compromised immune system, then your risk goes up. If you eat a raw oyster that's from a warm water in the summer months, your risk goes up. And it's not, again, it's an infinitesimal risk. It's like winning the lottery, except you lose. It's the reverse lottery. And it's, it wasn't fair to Rustic Inn, but unfortunately, they're the ones that served this oyster that ended up, being, having this bacteria. And you know what? It's tragic for the victim's family. But again, I believe because of what you could see in the pathology, the toxicology report, that he might have had some issues involving drugs that might have weakened his immune system and made him more susceptible to the bad oysters. So all of these things in combination, it's just a sad story.
Yes.
And I tell everybody, again, everybody's got to make their own decisions. Again, it was like the same thing during COVID. People were chiding other people for going out to eat. Some people were comfortable eating inside. Some people would not even leave their homes and only order takeout. Some people would eat outside. I was one of those that would eat outside during the pandemic because I felt comfortable, because what we knew and what we know now is that the risk dissipates much, it's much less risky when you're outdoors. The air breaks up the virus of the COVID. So again, everybody's got to make their own decisions when it comes to eating and dining and what they're comfortable with, what their own risk factors are. And that's it. It comes down to personal choice. That's what makes America great. And that's it for the serious part of the show today. But a tragic story all around. I hope people won't stop going to Rustic Inn if you like the place. I happen to not. Yeah, I mean, I happen to not like the place as much as I used to. It got taken over by a corporate entity from New York, and I thought they started really getting, they shrinking the portions and the prices went up. But again, it's expensive. I've never liked their garlic butter crab. They don't even use butter. It's like this oily substance. I just don't like that. But that's a food critic thing. I did go for a meal there last summer with my poker crew, because when Sean had his big score, he wanted to celebrate. We went to Rustic Inn. We had a really good meal. We had a bunch of king and queen crab legs there. We had a bunch of they do this like linguine with the fra diavolo lobster, and the cooked clams and the mussels. We had a really nice meal, and it put it back in kind of like neutral ground for me. Like, I would go back to Rustic Inn. It's a one of a kind place. They're known for the steamed crabs and the garlic crabs, which is all cooked, so there's no risk there. But if you're gonna have the raw oysters, it's eater beware. So that's it for now. Hey, let's talk about something good, which is
something great.
I'm going to praise you, and I'm going to talk about Tropical Acres, and we love Jack Studiali, and we were there. We didn't get to talk about it much yesterday because we were doing the Nikki and Visit Lauderdale thing, but Wednesday night, all debts were settled finally.
Yes.
And I have to give a big round of applause to Mike Lubie Lubitz, because he was willing to everybody wanted their twin lobster specials, and every Monday through Friday all summer long, and for
That's
a
such a
few
great
more
deal.
weeks. Twin lobsters, they steam them live, Maine lobsters. Even Jack was telling us, yeah, they could get the 1 pound little chicks, but he says, I want to go a little over. He makes sure they get more like 1.25 pounds lobsters, so you're getting a pretty good deal. 2 of those, $35, along with a salad and a side dish. That's at Tropical Acres Steakhouse. But to Lubie's credit, I was like, hey, anybody want to do a little surf and turf? We'll each have 1 lobster. I'll get a filet mignon. We'll split it down the middle. And of course, Jeff Defo DeForest, he's like playing Mr. Nebbishy old man. I don't want any red meat. And meanwhile, he could have parted with one of his lobsters because he ended up taking one of the lobsters home. What are the odds that he ate it yesterday? Or is it just sitting there decomposing now in the fridge while he's plunging
100%.
his guts out in New Orleans, right?
100%. It's in
So
there. Yeah, for sure.
he could have just given me one of his lobsters without even having to take any of the steak because he didn't eat it all. That's what kind of a good deal and good value. You get big portions,
Yeah.
tremendous value. Tropical's Acres is at 2500 Griffin Road. And again, I'm praising Lubie because he's the kind of eater I like now. We split a good bottle of red wine. He didn't complain about, oh, red wine makes my head hurt or my stomach hurt like Defo.
love
But I'm
red
just going to bash Defo now. We got a good, and even though it wasn't half price wine night and I didn't ask or grovel Jack to like give me a little discount. No, this was a bet. I was going to go all the way. We assembled in the bar, had a couple of happy hour appetizers with.
I'm impressed by that. Look, and I get it, places do happy hour, but usually nice steakhouses don't. And the happy hour was great. Like I walked in, I'm like, is that, you called it a slider, but I'm like, that looks like a burger.
That was a nice little hefty sirloin, and they use their ground sirloin meat. It's excellent. Nice. And you get 2 of those nice, I'm going to say like 3-ounce burgers for like, I think it's $4 or $5 on a nice bun. They kind of, they put a cheese on it and a little bit of ketchup, a little dab of ketchup.
Order.
But yeah, no, it's like you could go in there, and again, from 4:30 to 6:30 at the bar, they have happy hour, and they have this menu. They have the escargot for $6. They had coconut shrimp. That Sarnie would have gotten that. I messed up because I ordered it before everybody got there because I wanted to get it in before 6:30 was over. So, but you got the half price drinks and things, and those great little light bites. You could go in there. Not even have to go in the dining room and get a whole steak dinner. You could just go and have the sliders and the coconut shrimp and have a drink, and you're out of there for less than $20. Again, you can't beat these deals. Tropical Acres, 2500 Griffin Road, just west of I-95 in the airport, Dania, Fort Lauderdale. Next week, I think they're almost at capacity. Again, Jack, because he's a kind-hearted soul, he wanted to do something good for teachers with being back to school. All teachers who show up with their teacher's ID are going to get a free entree up to $35 value next week, Monday through Thursday. But I think they were almost filled up, and he was going to maybe issue some I'm not sure what their policy, if they're going to issue any rain checks, because he feels bad. But the dining room, it filled up. 954-989-2500 if you want to try to call over there and see if there's any availability left for that teacher's special next Monday through Thursday. Otherwise, it's still worth the money. You go in there. Again, I paid full freight to settle up the debt. We had a nice bottle of that Belglas Pinot Noir. Half price wine night Monday and Tuesday. It's a steal at $33. I didn't mind paying $66 because you see it at different restaurants down here for $125.
Yeah, that was a nice bottle.
And boy, it opened up beautiful. We got the steaks, we got the fillets, you got the prime rib, you got the rack of lamb, you got the twin lobsters. Sarnie, our man, had the broiled scallops. He proclaimed them just fine, and he's a New Englander. The butcher shop is open every day, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm sorry, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day but Sunday. Same thing with the dining room. They're closed on Sundays. Go into Tropical Acres, 4:30. Tell them that the Gambling Gourmet, the Lunchbox, Lubie, Defo, and Mayo sent you.
All righty, when we come back, we finish off another week of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox here, not only on South Florida Live, but check us out weeknights, I think on the weekend too, on 96.9, 95.3 FM, 1470 AM, oldies, WWNN. Each and every day we are here on South Florida Live and WWNN. More. And the end of a week, another sandwich-filled week of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox right here.
You like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style. A pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788. 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. All right, we're back here on the Lunchbox. It's a Friday. I just got a picture sent to me from one Jeff Defo DeForest, who's
nice.
in New Orleans. Guess where he is?
Harris, right? That's where does he ever leave Harris?
Well, he's staying at Harris, and that's downtown.
Acme. He's at Acme. If he's sending you,
I thought he'd be at Acme, but I think the whole oyster thing scared him, being that he's a septuagenarian. I'm telling him, don't risk the raw oysters from Louisiana anymore. So no, I got a picture. It looks like he's at the fairgrounds. I see a lot of a bank of simulcast screens and horse tracks and tellers and betting machines. It looks like he's plunging on horses today. So Defo alive and well, and in New Orleans. We'll see him again on Monday. I wanted to just go over, what do you got on tap for the weekend there? Anything big? We're
going to celebrate my sister-in-law's birthday. They recently moved from Fort Myers to Orlando, so we're going to check out her and my brother-in-law's new place and celebrate. I was looking forward to finally getting out to Shenanigans and celebrating 30 years of Shenanigans. So you'll have to do that for everyone here on the Lunchbox. And everyone here in South Florida Live. Really happy for them, Patrick Utter and everyone over there. They do such a great job. So I'll miss out on that, but I will be in Orlando, Defo's favorite place on the planet, celebrating my sister-in-law's birthday. What are you doing?
Nice.
Well,
I've got a whole schedule, and believe it or not, a lot of it revolves around eating. It's crazy. This is let's see. So tonight, well, first of all, I'm getting a long-awaited haircut. I need that. I'm very shaggy, and with my daughter before school starts, and then we're going out to dinner, a place in Fort Lauderdale that I haven't been to yet, and it gets high praises. I'm in the mood for anything but a sandwich, and actually in the mood for pasta. And we're gonna go check out this Italian joint near Galt Ocean Mile. It's called Scola Pasta. And they make their own in-house pasta selections, and they also have these charcuterie boards, and my daughter is very excited about that. So we're gonna have a little daddy-daughter dinner tonight.
Nice.
Looking forward. First time I'm gonna be in there, and a neighbor of mine used to rave about it. Said it was one of the best Italian restaurants he's ever eaten at.
Oh, wow.
So that's tonight. Tomorrow I got kind of a little bit of a double header. I'm gonna make an appearance out at my friend Max Santiago, great pastry chef, who has opened up a bunch of different donut shops and cookie shops. He had a hand in the Salty Donut down in Wynwood that was popular, and he's kind of like a nomad. He comes in, he sets up places, and then he bolts and he starts something new. And he's behind Batch Cookies, which people down in Fort Lauderdale know Batch Cookies, and they're opening up different locations now in other places, and the really good high-end cookie place. But he's opening up a new donut shop or something called what is it called? No, it's Batch. I'm sorry, it's another Batch Cookie location. I'm sorry, but he's the grand opening is out in Boca Town Center tomorrow, and I'm going to go out there for the ribbon cutting. But he's making some special creation called the Donuki. It looks like a combination of a donut that has like chocolate chip cookie dough filling. Yeah, it's on his Instagram, Chef Max Santiago. So it's kind of a cookie dough filled donut that looks like something that's going to be great for my pre-diabetes. And that's at noon, and then I'm going to make an appearance and go down and say hello to Pat Utter and gang at the original Shenanigans west side across from TY Park. I'll probably get in there right before the Dolphins kickoff because they're giving away some free shots and beers to those who show up wearing Dolphins paraphernalia. And as you can see right behind me, I've got my Dolphins cap. I'm still going to have to sort out whether we're going to go with the over under 8.5 for the season. I was hoping to have Chris Perkins on today, newly named Dolphins columnist, big kahuna for the South Florida Sun Sentinel. But he got buried. He has some other news writing duties that he still has another week left of being on the news desk there at the Sun Sentinel. But he's going back home to cover sports, and good for Perky. It'll be fun talking to him eventually, on both shows, Defo and here on the Lunchbox, because Perky likes to eat too. So anyway, hey, let's take one more break, and we'll come back to wrap up this week on the Lunchbox after these words. Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo here for Costas Greek Eatery and Pizzeria. If you want to take a trip to the Aegean without getting on a plane and no need for a passport, just go up to 1940 Northeast 49th Street in Pompano Beach, just west of Federal Highway, just a little bit north of Sample Road, and you will be transported to Greece along with a New York-style pizzeria. They do it both so well. They got Greek specialties like gyros and souvlaki and the grape leaves and the spinach pie, and also great New York thin, crisp New York-style Greek pizza with pepperoni. Don't miss that one. And of course, spinach and gorgonzola. Costa is a great guy. He'll smash a plate, say Opa, and greet and treat you like family. Go to Costas. It's open every day for lunch and dinner. Tell him the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. And we're back here on the Lunchbox Friday edition pre-weekend. I hope everybody's having a good week and going to have a good weekend. I'm going to be going around doing more eating, but I could rest easy. Maybe I'll have like a Shabbat, a day of rest from a sandwich, because I've already got 28 in the bank, and we're only on the 19th. I'll keep going. I'm going to try to eat a sandwich a day. Here, let me show you this, because I deconstructed this salami now, and it's all congealed now. And again, not the best thing to get cold French fries, but when that sandwich first came off and it was hot. So this is like just the half where I pulled off the salami with French fries that are all smushed together on this kind of like soft Italian bread. And again, on the other half that I pulled apart has the tomatoes and coleslaw, very vinegary coleslaw, no mayo, discernible mayo on that coleslaw. So that would be Lubie approved. I'm going to go in and just take a bite of this cold salami, because it wouldn't be, you got to finish off the week with another bite to gross people out. And the potato with the salami, it works. It's like a frittata almost, or something like that.
That's when you said salami, I'm like, okay, I can see salami with a little bit of coleslaw with a little bit of potato. Like that seems to be a nice fit.
Yeah, we were celebrating Sandwich Month and Potato Day.
Yes.
Sarni was wondering if I had a Mr. Potato Head around, I could display it for Potato Day, but I do not, alas. So good. How do I eat so much and not drop dead? This is the question of the day. So that's going to do it for the weekend. Have a great trip up to Orlando, Lubie. Stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to try to keep chewing on this salami. Again, we got a couple more weeks of Sandwich Mania coming up. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing stuff from VNS, my favorite place up in Boca Raton. Lots of seafood and fish entries from various places, including next week. We're going to have a remote, hopefully, at Even Keel Fish Shack. We're also going out to Il Paisano, which is an Italian market on Oakland Park Boulevard with Nikki Mohan and the Visit Lauderdale crew. And again, it's interesting backstory. It's a couple. They're both South African, but one is of Italian heritage, the other of Portuguese. And of course, they now run a multi kind of cultural shop
Nice.
a restaurant and market on Oakland Park Boulevard. We'll be there next Thursday. Next Friday, we're going to go check out this new cider brewery, or whatever you call it, cider works, called Broski, with our
Nice.
friend Chef Jeffrey. He's the burger savant and sandwich savant. He's going to kill us with a bunch of sandwiches from his Jeffrey Eats food truck. We're going to do that remote next Friday out in Pompano Beach. So another busy week of eating ahead. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on Monday. Remember to enjoy every sandwich.